Want to introduce Kyle Filipowski. Obviously, he's been on the national stage for a long time with his basketball career. We're really excited to have a guy of his caliber, character, talent, size. Couldn't be more thrilled to have him be part of the Jazz. Welcome, and want to introduce, and any questions that I can answer, or Kyle, let's kick it off.
Kyle, we only talked to you a little bit, but what's the most exciting part about joining the Jazz in particular, and what do you what do you like about this organization as a fit for your game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to be surrounded by these people. I think it's a great organization filled with very welcoming set of group, and it's a young group. It's a group that's ready to learn, ready to put in the time and energy, and I'm just excited to be part of that process with them.
Kyle, Dana Green with ABC4. You obviously were hoping to be drafted on day one. How are you going to use that as motivation? Isaiah talked a little bit about that as well, of with a chip on their shoulder. You kind of mentioned that draft night. Can you channel that maybe frustration in trying to prove people wrong?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of been who I am my whole life, to be honest, is kind of a guy that's overlooked. And so just having this be another one of those situations, of course, that's going to add more motivation for myself to just prove those other people wrong. But, most importantly, what I'm most excited about, though, is, even though it was day 2 that I got picked, I'm just excited for being picked to the right place I believe I fit best at.
What are you expecting, and what are you hoping to show in Summer League? It starts real quick.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I got no idea. I'm of course I'm a rookie, and I'm just kind of looking forward to soaking it all up, learning as much as I can from all the guys around me, and just trying to grow from it however I can.
When you look at
You're not going to introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kyle doesn't know who you are. That's Tony.
Kyle, that's my fault.
All right, nice to meet you, Tony.
I'm Tony Jones from The Athletic. When you look at your skill set, just kind of playing, near the basket, facing the basket, away from the basket, how do you feel like that translates to the league, and, what are some of the things that, you wanted to show in the pre-draft process in terms of that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is the spacing in the NBA. I think my game kind of suits that better than obviously all the congestion in college basketball. But I mean, to be honest, I'm just going to try to use that skill set I have any way I can, however the coaches need me to, whatever way that is, whether it is playing more perimeter or more inside. I think just because of the way the NBA is played, I'm able to do whatever it is that the coaches will want.
Kyle, Sarah Todd, Deseret News. Are you going to be wearing number 22?
I am, yes.
Is there a reason that you chose that number?
I mean, I wore that number a few times growing up, so it's I already got a level of comfortability with it. But I think it's a good new beginning for me coming here into the Jazz.
And then the second question is for both of you, but Kyle first. There's been some comparisons between you and Kelly Olynyk's game, kind of being like a secondary playmaker that can work at the high post, that sort of thing. How do you feel about that comparison? Yeah,
I mean, obviously Kelly Olynyk's had an incredible career, and he's a really great player. I think that's a great comparison, and at the same time, I think there's always other comparisons you can make, no matter who it is. So, but I think the most important thing is just trying to be myself, be myself out there, and not feel confined to any limits.
I mean, kind of the same question for you, Justin, but
Yep.
Along those lines, is having a player like that, after seeing what Kelly could do with this team, is
Sure.
that important?
I mean, having guys, you guys talk to Will all the time, and he talks about a lot of things, but the main things he talks about, we don't play free minutes, and you need to move the ball. So having players that like to pass, that can pass, gives you a really good base to grow your game. I think Kyle has a skill set that has a chance to him to differentiate and him to become his own guy. But starting with liking to pass, understanding the game, knowing how to play, having size, and being able to dribble, pass, and shoot, like it's a good start. It's a good start.
Hey, Kyle. Ryan Miller from KSL.com. I'm just curious, what have the conversations been like with like Coach Hardy or Justin since being drafted?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything's been crazy, so we haven't gotten that much time to talk. But what it's, the basis of what it's been pretty much is just trying to come in here, learn as much as I can, feel like this is a new home for me. They want to make me feel welcomed, and they're doing a great job of that. And just coming in, being ready to work hard and learn every day.
Along those lines, what is the process of like getting implemented into a team?
Probably been a whirlwind for you. Right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of meetings, a lot of new people you're meeting. Trying to find a new place to live. Obviously, you're just trying to start a new life here, and I mean, I think the best thing you can do with that is just enjoy it and embrace it all. Like I said, I'm super happy to be here, so just kind of enjoying this process.
Hey, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Andy Larson, Salt Lake Tribune. But these questions are for Jay-Z instead, who does know me.
Thank you, Andy.
We didn't get the chance to talk to you about Kyle's drafting after the second day of the draft. So can I just ask, first of all, why Kyle was a pick at number 32?
I mean, I couldn't. Our entire staff couldn't really believe that he was there. I think there was a lot of things with the draft in general. It being pretty flat, of having a number of players that probably didn't expect to go where they went. Frankly, it was a very, very easy choice for us. He was someone we really wanted, and I mean, we basically ran to the podium when our pick was up. So he doesn't know that until right now, but we were thrilled. And I think he mentioned it a little bit, but we talk a lot about it. Okay, you're drafted, and maybe it didn't go the way you wanted to as far as number or expectation, but finding the right place and finding the place to begin your career. Now, I don't care if you're the first pick, your 32nd pick. It's like now you got to find out if you're good, and then all that stuff just goes away. So giving him a platform to have him become the best player he can be, that's our jobs.
And then, not specific to Kyle, but what kind of role do you expect the G League to play in the development of all three guys that you drafted?
Yeah, I mean, I thought you saw great examples last year. I'm not putting any expectations of where this is. We have a very, very young group, but you saw a few different paths last year where, Taylor Hendricks spent the first half of the season basically playing 35 minutes a night because he needed to play. Keontae George, came off the bench and played with our squad for most of the season outside of injury. And Bryce, took a little longer. So every situation is unique based on their skill set, how much they played, injuries, things like that. So with Kyle, I think being open to everything, but his skill set allows him to give him an opportunity to be able to connect with other players very quickly. So what he does with that and how he integrates, no matter where he starts, but we'll get him better for sure.
Kyle, do you have any previous relationship with any of the Jazz players or your fellow rookies?
Yeah, so the one player is Keontae. Played with him at USA when we played on the 3-on-3 team, and we went over to Hungary and we won a gold medal there. So that's the one guy I've known for quite a bit of time now.
And having played at such a high-profile school like Duke, probably not the most liked program when you go on the road, right? Is that going to help prepare you maybe for life in the NBA eventually?
I would like to think so, yes. I mean, obviously, I'm not really sure what to expect with the NBA and the environments at the games and stuff. I'm sure that's very different. But in terms of best preparation for a college program, I think Duke did a really good job with that for my mindset.
Kyle and Jeff Rennie with Fox 13. You're an East Coast guy. What's been your impressions of Utah? Have you been here before? And your short time here in Salt Lake City?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much my first time here. I mean, I was here a couple of weeks ago when I came to work out. But yeah, no, this is pretty much my first time being in the Mountain West area. So it's very different sites. But I mean, it already gives off such great energy to me, and just seeing the environment. You know, I'm very happy being here and just looking for a place to live.
Kyle, David Locke, Jazz Radio. I watched your game against Baylor and Boston College, so that's my wealth of knowledge. That's it. Apologize. But two things that jumped out to me. One is in the Baylor game, you switched a ton and handled it pretty well. Do you think you're maybe better at that than the scouting reports gave you credit for?
I definitely would say so, and I think that's just the confidence I have in myself and just all the work I've done these past couple of years at Duke with my defense, and you know, I think I did a much better job with switching my sophomore year than my freshman year. So yeah.
And the second one was a very low dribble at times, which is hard for 7-footers. What have you done to try to develop that?
You said low dribble, yeah. I mean, just working on that as much as I can, to be honest. Obviously, you gotta put yourself in uncomfortable positions to get more comfortable with it. And if I wanted to have that ability from my coaches to let me handle the ball, then I had to be really good at it, and I had to give them a reason to let me keep handling it, and that's obviously by not turning the ball over. So you know, that's what I want to do. So I had to keep working hard at that.
The finish of this is good.
Thank you.
Hey, Kyle, Craig Bolerjack, Jazz TV. With all the youth this franchise has now, leadership is going to be, you know, at a premium. That's what they're going to definitely need. I'm curious, playing at Duke, which has such a high esteem in college basketball, how does that translate in leadership and what you learned at Duke, and how you can translate that into your NBA career?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned during my time at Duke is that, you know, everyone is different, and everyone, I believe, should be coached differently or you know, just talked to differently. There's some guys that, you know, you may need to let them lean on you a little bit more. Other guys you can get in their face. But so I think just kind of knowing who you're dealing with and creating a connection with them is kind of what I learned at Duke, and just how to best handle that. But you know, at the same time, just doing whatever's necessary of me. I'm not going to try to force myself into any role that's not needed. You know, I'm going to do what's required of me and just do the best job at that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.